Just play
Just
the. Don't tell anybody. That's the worst thing you can say to somebody is to calm down.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to And That's Why We're Not Together, starring David McSavage and Hannah Andrews, with special guest Granny, aka Annette Andrews. Woo! Woo!
Okay, and my beautiful princes, Jack and Daniel. And we have an audience member, Sinead, my sister, Andrews. Yes, Granny, Mom, you're the special guest, and that's why we're not together. I think we've done 11 episodes. Haven't we, Hannah?
Yes, I'm not that sure.
Hannah, where are you now? Are you here? Are you present?
I am present.
Hannah, it's okay, Mom. This is theatrical. You know, I'm not that angry with her.
That's a lie.
Can you hear Jack, by the way?
Yeah, that's why that's why she should wear the headphones, because she wouldn't be able to.
She won't hear you.
Yeah.
Can you hear Jack?
Hello.
Do you want to wear headphones?
Yeah, I think
it's
Jack
all about
is fired. I think
Jack is fired.
because like the sound.
Daniel is
wasn't working.
rehired.
For
and
momentary. Am I fired?
oh yeah. Well, no. Well, Hannah's boyfriend
My boyfriend? No, we don't. We're not talking about my boyfriend.
objects to the fact that she has a close relationship with her ex-husband.
That's a disgrace.
Well, what would you say to him, Mom?
I'd say
Genuine, Hannah. Yes, Hannah.
Well,
this is my mother. She can say whatever.
he must be very unsure of himself.
Yes.
Oh.
But 100%, Hannah. It's so true.
This is definitely over.
No, it isn't definitely over. There's nothing unique or strange or weird about a man or a woman being possessive or jealous about someone in a relationship. And this guy has nothing to worry about. But we've known each other since 1991. I think it's crazy.
Yes.
So, Mom, what time did you start working in RTE?
Well, it was after I got married. I really, it would have been in the 60s. I couldn't put a date on it exactly.
And there wouldn't have been many women working as announcers, or would there?
There were, yes,
Yeah.
yes, there were. It wasn't anything unusual. I don't know. I think I just saw an ad in the paper and applied. And
But was Dad's father not chairman of RTE at the time?
no, he wasn't. That was later on.
Okay, so that would have been insider trading then. If so,
yeah. Well, no, that
They
was
call it nepotism.
no, but so it was totally on your merit.
totally. I mean, I was
and
totally
you had
unknown.
so did you go in and audition?
Yeah.
Huh. And what? Well, listen, you know, it's in other words, it's impressive. You know, I wonder how many people auditioned for that job.
I have no idea.
You've no idea. But what was your what was your training? I mean, it's quite a thing to look in an ad in the paper and think, right, I'll go for that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why it wasn't something I always wanted to do. I just saw it. And I was looking for something to do. You know, since I was married, I hadn't a job.
And did you tell Dad that you were going to do that?
Oh, of course I did. Yeah.
And
Did he give you permission?
I didn't seek it.
was David already been born, or?
90. That would have been 66.
Yeah, but
I think I really.
Yeah, that's okay.
Remember,
And who were the big stars? Can you remember? Like, what can you remember about that time? Who were the big stars?
I was going to say, well, Gay Byrne in the radio. He was the guy. Brendan Balfe, Morris O'Doherty.
Morris O'Doherty.
Yeah, remember him?
No.
Bridget Kilfeather. Their names you wouldn't know, but they were the people in there. Donald Dooling was the head of features, and he was the one who interviewed me. And then I was.
And were there any sort of pervs walking around the corridors of RTE feeling girls?
No, I'm afraid.
You're afraid not.
And it certainly didn't feel me up.
You're afraid not. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so it was quite conservative. But so Gay Byrne was the big star.
Yeah.
Was he doing what
He was
year
doing
did the
radio.
Late Show start?
Oh, I don't know. Don't ask me dates. I don't know.
And of course, Ryan Tubridy is still doing the Late Show.
Yeah.
I think it's way past its sell-by date. Personally, the Late Show.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's still running. That's what I think. Okay. What can I? Are we distracting you, Hannah? From
No, because I wanted to find out when the Late Late Show started.
Oh,
so
yeah.
just giving like a timeline. So because we a little bit lost. Were you born or you weren't born? You know, the Late Late started. When it started?
So how long did? Because I heard a documentary that you did in RT. I think Sinead might have. Can you remember what it was called, Hannah? Sinead?
It was for the International Year of the Woman, and it was 1974.
Oh, so you were working quite a long time in RT then?
I can't give you. I was quite a while. Yes. At first, I was just doing announcing,
Yeah.
and then I got quite friendly with Donncha Dooling, and he was I decided to have a go at putting together a program and submitting it, and they used it, and they did quite a few programs like that.
Well, because the clip I listened to, I thought it was actually really well presented. I mean, it stands the test of time, and you interviewed me as well. I don't know how old I was.
Oh, about 7 or 8, I think.
Yeah, and oh God, it was one of the. Did you hear that interview where I was saying women should be ironing and stuff, and they shouldn't?
And they should knit your trousers.
Oh, knit my trousers.
But
Knitting.
why knit trousers?
Well,
Because no, I'm sure Mom put me up to it.
yeah, but like knitting trousers. I mean, cardigans,
Yeah, yeah.
shawls.
No, I think Mom was
Head,
interviewing
but
me
trousers.
and laughing her head off.
Well, about the knitting, I interviewed other people as well, but I wanted one daft thing for the in. So
Oh, right.
I talked to you beforehand. I said I'll be asking you about what women should be doing. You know, should they be knitting or whatever.
Oh,
Now,
yeah,
you
yeah.
Never
So
saw me knit,
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
I planted the seed in your head.
Oh, yeah. So that's
Well, that
kind
was
of
clever.
that's sort of child abuse, is it? Is it? Taking advantage.
I
of...
could do much
Yeah.
better with child abuse than that. I assure you.
Well, speaking of child abuse, no, this is a terrible segue, but my swim coach back in the day
Yeah.
was none other than the infamous George Gibney.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think from the age of 8 or something, I would go and train up in Glen Albin.
Yeah.
But I liked it. Obviously, this is the thing: when abuse doesn't happen to someone, they can't get their heads around it. But like people who are in the community, the fact that they can do what they do, they have to present themselves in a very normal, conservative way. They don't advertise the fact that they are perverts. So nobody, you never got a sense.
No, I liked George Gibney. He was a very good coach, swimming teacher.
Yeah.
I knew nothing whatsoever about what was happening, or I don't know.
So if people don't know, there was a big expose or a documentary about George Gibney, and it was revealed that he was a serial. Is it rapist? Is that what we're talking about, Mom? It's horrible.
I don't know.
What,
I mean,
Sinead?
yeah.
Sinead's saying yes. So that I think, Mom, I think what it is, it's so difficult for people like you, normal, well-adjusted, good people, to get their heads around that people are they're monsters and they walk among us, because the damage they do is anyway.
But also, I think especially that you went and you didn't get abused and you had a good relationship, and then you can think how that person can be so good to some. And then
well, I
be
think
so
I think
vicious.
possibly I was protected by the fact that Dad was who he was. Maybe that he was a public figure, or maybe I was a big blabbermouth, or he couldn't. I'm not the type of kid he could groom.
Well, you remember, but Barry was there too.
Yeah.
So I mean, if possibly Barry,
You could definitely groom Barry.
Yes.
I know. Stop
No,
it.
I don't. I don't think he.
He's well groomed. That's
Was
true.
it happening at that time, or was it later?
So we shouldn't even. You shouldn't be laughing about stuff like that. I don't know when it was. It was happening at that time.
Yeah.
So, Mom, nowadays there's much more awareness, or about child abuse and stuff like that, but almost to the point where it's sad that we can't, leave our kids here or pick up other people's kids. But if this atmosphere protects even one child from abuse, then I suppose that's the price we pay.
Yeah.
But was there simply not just people just didn't know about it or didn't understand it, or was it ever in the conversation back in the 70s?
No. I'm afraid I just was totally unaware of it. You know.
You wouldn't in a million years think a priest. They had such a high standing in the community.
Yeah.
They were kind of like rock stars walking around the parish. Father O'Reilly, Father O'Sullivan, and you didn't think about those things.
But I mean, George Gibney in his own way was a sort of a rock star. He was very popular. He was very good with children. I'm not saying that to be smart.
No, I know, Mom. I know. I totally understand what you were saying, and
I was shocked when I heard it. But I was very disappointed to think that he would have been.
It's shocking. It is shocking. But I had. I'm sure Sinead feels the same way. Like I had such a great childhood, growing up in Oakley Grove, which is in Blackrock.
May I interrupt?
Yes, Hannah.
So
no, you can't.
may I?
Go on, go for it, Hannah.
I am the pilot of this plane, and
I must say, okay, you're the pilot, well, I'm co-pilot.
Okay.
I hope so. But anyway, I remember I met you, and
what year?
1991.
Yes.
And then you were telling me story about your childhood, and I never forget it because it was one of the most touching one, because you were telling about your mom bringing you to swimming, and then you always had a bowl of cornflakes.
Oh yeah.
And they
well,
were ready for you when you.
Well, that was Mom being so caring and nurturing. So I'd go training, and then Mom would bring up a bowl of cornflakes in a Tupperware bowl. Because I love cornflakes.
You know, this story has
been overblown.
It happened once.
But Annette, he remembers it so well. It's beautiful.
But it's mothers and do that. They look after their kids. We looked after Jack and Daniel.
I know, but. Obviously, it was such an amazing experience for you. That,
I'm sorry, your mother obviously never brought you cornflakes.
Oh, no.
I
had cornflakes when I was 18. It was the first time I had cornflakes.
Yeah.
And then...
Because Hannah said, is that true? You didn't have oranges or mandarins or something when you were growing up?
No, we didn't. We only had them once a year during Christmas. And you would get your oranges under the Christmas tree as your present.
Because it was a tough old time Just make sure Mom's microphone is.
Oh yeah, so I just got.
Are you okay, Mom? Do you want some water or tea or anything?
I'm absolutely fine.
So did you see yourself working more in RT? Did you want to work? Did you want to have a career? In other words.
Yes, well, I did quite a few different programs apart from the ordinary announcing. I was very interested in it, and I did actually then want to go on to television.
Yeah.
And I applied and went for an interview, and I felt myself the interview went quite well. At one stage, there was 3 guys interviewing me, and one stage, one of them said, "Could you look over at that door and smile?"
I don't understand.
Because he wanted to know, could I smile at random, at
Oh, I see.
So I looked over the door and I said, well, I can smile with you guys here. You know?
Yeah.
So I just felt the interview went well.
Right.
However, next thing, my father-in-law was appointed chairman of RTE.
Todd Andrews.
And of course, my husband was a TD.
And
I thought, if I suddenly get an appointment,
that's right.
Knows he was a television announcer.
Yeah.
So I rang up to withdraw my name.
Yeah.
And the guy I was talking, he said, "But you're doing very well. Why are you withdrawing?"
Oh, what a pity.
And I said, well, I told him.
Yeah.
Oh, he said, that's dreadful. But he understood, that was the end of that. That was.
Yeah. So Dad ruined your career.
Well, it wasn't his fault either, was it?
But Annette, I'm just wondering, do you ever think how would have been if you went for that job and if you got that job? So who... You might have been really famous person, or
Yeah. Yes, life would have been
even divorced your husband.
Well, actually, that is a good question. Do you, in quiet moments, ever think, the way our life paths go this way and that way? Do you ever think, what would have happened if you had continued with RT? Or do you ever think, or do you just?
No, I really don't, because it's so pointless.
And at the time, were you
but
very disappointed?
I
or-
was very
Oh, yeah, yeah.
disappointed, and but there was nothing I could do about it. I was a bit annoyed that David's father never spoke to me about it.
And
know.
well-
I remember the documentary about Ireland, and Todd Andrews was
Yeah,
there, and he apparently, what they said about him, that he was a very good in executing difficult tasks. so he was the one. So he was appointed the one who closed the rail line to then. Where was
Yeah,
that?
there's certain.
And then
yeah.
and then I remember there were people picketing, and there was Todd Andrews and swastika on them.
Oh
That
yeah,
was quite shocking,
yeah.
but it's true. And because he was like, if he had to do something, he would do it without
Yeah.
looking at
Yeah.
any consequences or any emotions.
Well, I assume
and-
there are certain types of personalities that you need in certain situations. Like certain people thrive in a war situation, but in day-to-day life, they'd be probably difficult to live with. But yeah, he was quite a tough dude. But like anyway, yeah. So you stopped, and what was it like? How long did you work in Aer Lingus?
How long did I work? And I'd say about 4 or 5. About maybe 5 years.
And what age? Do you remember what age you were when you started working with Aer Lingus?
Well, about 20.
And why did you decide? Like, it's kind of sorry, yeah. Why did you decide to get a job or apply for a job with Aer Lingus?
Well, it seemed more. Up to then, I'd had a job in an insurance office,
Okay.
and that my father had set up for me. By he just meets to some guy who was an inspector in an insurance company, and there I was in an office, and it didn't excite me.
Yeah.
So I was just looking around for something different. And a friend of mine, Mary
O'Connor.
herself and her friend, I can't remember her name now. They were applying, and they said,
Come on, we'll all
yeah,
apply
we'll all
together.
apply, yeah. But I didn't. I applied for ground hostess first, and I got a very nice job in Grafton Street, the Aer Lingus office in Grafton Street, which I enjoyed, just booking people and that sort of thing, and that was quite nice. But the girls hounded me till I went and applied for the air hostess, and I got it.
But at that time, especially, air hostess was glamorous job.
Yeah.
It's just like.
Were there lots of guys hitting on you back then?
No.
Yeah, Mom, there definitely were. When you were,
I
if
would
you're
like
walking
to
around as an air hostess, were they not like chatting you up and asking for your number?
I would like to see if they really be a bit more
what's that, Jack?
sexy than now.
What, Jack?
What's that?
Jump in there, Jack. What were you saying?
Well, you were saying you were working on Grafton Street.
Yeah.
I remember you were telling me that you would cycle into Grafton Street, and this is how different it was before and now. Like,
Yeah.
you would just leave your bicycle
Yeah.
unlocked on Westmoreland Street, wasn't it?
Well, that was the original job. Yeah, I was in Westmoreland Street. That's quite right. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And you'd leave it for the weekend unlocked in the city
Yeah.
centre, and you'd come back
It was
after
still
the
there,
weekend,
yeah.
it was still there.
Is that right?
That's just true. Yeah.
You can leave your...
I won't say nobody ever stole a bicycle. I mean, sure, some did,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like now.
Yeah.
I mean, I never had a bicycle stolen. I had a bike all that time I was working in the office. I was
Yeah.
cycling every day, and they never was stolen.
And
And
so-
I wouldn't be careful, I'd be leaving it.
But and what about, like, so you grew up in Ballyghamesduff, County Cavan. Now, how come your accent? Did you actively change your accent when you started working for RTE, or did you,
No,
or yeah?
You see,
You were the posh people in Ballyghamesduff.
my parents didn't have strong. Well, my mother was from Dublin anyway.
Oh, right.
And then at 11, I went to boarding school.
Okay.
And from 11 on, I never lived there. So
Well, so what's interesting about Mom's dad, Paddy, he started a thing called the Frolics. Did he coin that name, the Frolics? I mean, in that, like, there wasn't.
He did, yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so it was basically gathering together all the people with who were good at singing and talent and
Yeah.
and acting and putting on a show once a year, was it?
Yeah, before that, he was very much into drama and, plays and stuff. And he did a play every year, and there'd be maybe 7 or 8 people in it. My mother used to take part in it as well. And they'd go to drama festivals, and that was. But then he thought he would give all the young people in the area who had absolutely nothing going for them, and there's only a handful of people in these plays. So this is why he decided to have a musical show, with a lot of music.
And how long did the
sketches.
frolics last for?
For all I know, it's still going.
No, what I mean
Never-
is, would they put them on for a week?
Oh yes, a week, maybe longer.
Yeah. So as they say, and I hate this phrase, I didn't get my, because I'm talented. Sure, you didn't lick it from a stone. I can't stand that expression.
Yeah.
Because I just imagine somebody trying to get talent from a stone by licking it. You know what I mean?
Literally.
You're not, give me a stone so I can lick a stone. It's insane. Somebody came up with that phrase once and thought he was so clever.
Jack.
Do you know what I mean? Jack, it's like this, look.
Ask him about did he fall.
Look at it didn't fall from the tree. Here, some happy dove going. Well, he didn't look at from his own. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ, does my head in.
Are you finished?
No, I'm not finished. I've started. No, you're used to boring men, Mom. What are you talking about? I can't believe we're having a roast battle. With my mom.
It's your turn now, Granny.
your turn.
You have to slag David off.
Thinking of something.
Yeah, you call me a bedwetter. Okay, I did. I wet my bed till God knows how long did I wet my bed for?
36.
God, it was so horrible wetting a bed, and you'd wake up and you wouldn't move, and you think, have I wet the bed? And then you'd move, and oh shit, I've wet the bed. And they put up at one time there was a little card,
Oh yeah.
with days, and the green days were the dry days, and the red days were the and in the month
they
it was just
tried
all
to-
red. Because I guess the doctor was trying to
Yes.
shake me out of it.
Well, have you got out of it now?
I haven't. I was your favourite, wasn't I, Mom?
No.
I was.
I genuinely didn't have favourites. At certain times, you'd be concerned about one child more than another. And I felt I had a good relationship with you.
Definitely. No, I felt there were certain things you said to me when I was growing up, I think for every mother or for every potential parent, it's important to kind of lay a bit of groundwork or foundation, and even if you didn't believe it, I think at one time you sat me down and said, I know things are going to turn out right for you, and you're going to do something, and you're going to, and I obviously needed to hear that. So it gives people and kids want to know that it's not that they're loved by their parents, but they're liked, and the parents enjoy their company. And I felt you did enjoy my company, which was a nice feeling.
Yeah, you were quite hilarious. You were.
But also a pain in the hole. I'm sure. I mean, I mean, yeah. Sorry.
I mean, there's times that I would get worried if I saw a neighbour coming up the driveway.
Yeah.
Because of the chances are it was to complain about silly things that you did. There was nothing serious.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the complaints was that you and a couple of pals found out the Christian names of all the mothers in the area and started saying, "Hello, Dora. Hello, Mary."
It's quite innocent.
Yeah, they were 7 or 8 year olds. They thought this was hilarious.
But I remember the thing that really put the fear of God into me was like, you'd say something, your father will deal with you, right? And then, so I'd be sitting in the front room, and Dad would pull up in his car, and he'd wave, at the driveway. He'd be waving, and then I'd be with my little 8-year-old head thinking, you won't be waving at me now in about a minute. And then you'd see Mom going out, and I couldn't hear what they're saying, but she was going. And then you could see Dad's expression changing into just like, oh shit. And then he'd take me to my room and put me over his knees and
Would he?
spank me.
He was not spanking, was he?
Didn't do that for you.
He did, yes. He beat me with a stick.
He didn't. No way.
No. But anyway. But this is the dynamics, and I mean, did you was your dad ever like physical or violent, or did he? No. Yeah. Paddy was he see from everything you've said about him, he seems like a very jovial kind of guy who just wants to wants to have a bit of fun.
Yeah, he might have. He might have slapped the boys in the legs or something at some stage, because it was very common then. Nobody was going around and lifting their hands in horror and saying, as long as you. I mean, I never hit me, or it seems that girls weren't, but he did, and I never remember thinking it was terrible. The times they were in it,
And so, what was it like? What do you think nowadays? Like, with all the progressive stuff and woke, do you ever follow any of that stuff?
Well, I'm aware of it rather than not actually follow, but we can't but be aware.
Yeah. What do you think of that? Like, well, I don't know. Jack.
Well, you got to ask something more specific.
Okay, go on. You ask something more specific then.
Well, I don't know.
What was it like when?
Do you think kids should be spanked nowadays? No, Joe.
It's too late now for jogging.
But what was it like? Blackrock College. I was always in trouble. Was that a hassle for you?
It was a bit.
Yeah.
It was a bit. Yes.
It's mildly.
I used to dread parent-teacher meetings.
Yeah.
Because one teacher said to me, "Have you any idea how difficult it is to conduct a class with your son?"
Yeah.
You probably were very difficult in
Oh,
class.
very, very difficult. Yeah. No,
Do you remember what you've done?
No,
Like,
I was so unaware. I was so ADHD.
But what were you doing?
Just trying to get people to laugh all the time.
I think Jack needs to share with us some funny stories.
There's a good point. Do you think David nowadays, if he was in school nowadays, do you think he'd be diagnosed with ADHD?
I don't know, really. I wouldn't say so.
Yeah, I definitely have ADHD.
I really don't know what it is. You hear about it?
Yeah. I think it's ADHD is a bit of a, people are too quick to give, medicate kids who are,
Stop giving them sugar.
No, but like kids fidget and some people say it's ADHD, but a lot of kids fidget.
But they want to put labels on people.
Yes.
Nowadays, I think
And so, Mom, so when you're in your quiet moments, like what parts of your life, you know the way it's strange that you might be half awake or half asleep, and it just feels like your childhood was yesterday or something. Do you ever get those kind of thoughts or feelings? Like what do you remember? What good things come back to your?
What I remember, we lived in Ballygrim, a small village. There were 7 of us in the family, and every Sunday we all sat at the dining room table, and it was a big deal, And I remember that, Otherwise we had food in the kitchen. My parents never ate the kitchen, but and my mother always had. We don't use the word now, but maids.
Yeah.
She'd have 2 people living in the house doing most of the work,
Right.
And my parents would be in the drawing room or in the dining room, and we would be knocking around the place trying to eventually, when they had, I don't know, when the 7th child arrived, they'd built an extension to the house, so we had a children's room then.
So every Sunday, and that was everyone was like that. Most families, they'd sit down and have Sunday dinner.
Yes.
And Christmas was a big time as well. I mean, because for the kids, obviously, but like a lot. It seemed to me, because I remember seeing a lot of planning kind of went into. You'd be doing this. You'd have little schedules written out.
There were various. You'd be given a duty. You could be in charge of washing up.
Yeah.
Or you could be in charge of clearing the table, or you could be in charge of checking the bed, making the beds, whatever. Everybody wanted a specific job.
Right.
And we all used to get annoyed. This is when we were adults.
Yeah.
And Andrew was newly married to Ursula, and he absolutely idolised Ursula.
Mm-hmm.
So Ursula, like everybody else, got a job. So next thing, we see Andrew doing both jobs.
Okay, yeah. Oh,
That's love for you.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot.
Yeah,
Well, that's
but
something.
I met Andrew, and he was till the end. He was so in love with her.
Yeah, oh yes. Yeah.
That's very rare.
And
isn't it?
also the family, your family, Mom, was very musical.
That's right, yeah.
I mean, so you had like, was it the Bowles? One of them was a conductor in the.
Yeah, well, my mother's elder brother, Michael Bowles, he was very musical. He went into the army first, and the army sent him to do a BMUS in college, and he started conducting the army band.
Okay.
And he was conducting the Army #1 band, and that was great. And then he decided to put together an orchestra, and he put together the beginning of the RT orchestra.
That's interesting, isn't
And,
it? So he really had a big passion for it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that was who he was, and I idolised him, absolutely, so it was part of my music thing, you know.
And your brother Barry was in a jazz band back in the day.
Yeah. Both, when we all learned to play the piano, you know.
And you play. We have an electric piano here. Maybe in a few minutes you can just at the end of the thing you can play something for 30 seconds.
Okay.
Oh no. So Barry, your brother, was in a jazz band. Do you remember the name of the jazz band? Can't remember the name of the jazz band.
No, might come back to
And
it, but
Andrew, your
yeah, I mean, Barry was the eldest, and then there's me, and then Andrew. He was
Andrew, what musical thing did he do?
he played the piano, but they both learned the traditional piano, but they both went on to play jazz, playing by ear.
What did Andrew do musically?
He put together a choir which was called the Evoca Singers.
The Evoca Singers.
Yeah.
A very imaginative title because they were in Evoca and the people were singing.
Beautiful.
And of course, your youngest brother, Paddy Cusack,
Yes, of course.
also known as Pete Briquette,
Yeah.
joined the Boomtown Rats
Yeah.
in, I think it was 1970s.
Well, he was part of he was there from the beginning. He was friendly with,
Yeah.
what's the guy?
Bob Geldof.
Bob Geldof, yeah.
Mhm.
And I was a bit horrified. Oh, yes, I remember he came to see me. My parents died, and myself and Barry were, what's the word? We were in charge of the will.
Okay, yeah.
And he came to, Paddy came to see me one day. He was still in college, looking for money to buy a guitar.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could see no reason why I give him money
Yeah.
to buy a guitar.
Yeah.
So he went.
So you didn't give him the money?
No, I didn't. So
Jesus Christ.
Andrew was the other. Well, I didn't think of the guitar as a serious instrument, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Anyway, he went to Andrew, and Andrew actually gave him the money from his own money, not out of the estate. So Andrew is the hero here.
Andrew's the hero, yeah.
Auntie Mary left out the woman.
But no, Mary became Mary, who's my godmother, became a piano teacher.
Yeah.
And she was married to Aidan Whelan, who was the vet in Virginia. And I used to go up there as a kid. I used to love hanging out with Aidan, and we drive out to these isolated farms. Do you know what I mean? Like, so as an 8, 9, 10-year-old, and you'd be driving up these boreens and somewhere in Cavan, and you know, and then there'd be a big farmer just standing there, and then me heifer's got red water. Me heifer's got red water. So in other words, there's sort of blood in the cow's urine or something. And then Aidan would go out the back and inject something into the cow. I'll pay you soon, you know. But yeah, no, it was quite a tough old existence. These farmers out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
Just looking at the rain hitting the ground. Do you know what I mean? With a couple of cattle.
Yes. And the land wasn't great in Cavan, you know.
So did you ever have a Cavan accent? No, no.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I'm sure I had. I would say I had when I went to boarding school first.
Yeah.
And but I never got teased about it or anything.
But did you love your childhood growing up in Ballyjames Duff? Good memories.
Yeah, great memories actually.
Yeah.
I mean, you were in those days. People have to be more careful now, but you just roamed. You know,
Yeah.
you went off in the summer holidays. You went off in the morning.
That's the sad
Yeah,
thing, isn't it? Don't you think that
Yeah.
we've lost a lot?
Yeah.
That you children just get fucked out in the day, and
Yeah.
that they just wander back with a broken arm, and
Yeah.
it's grand.
And other people, everybody looked after the children. though.
Yeah.
If you saw children doing something they shouldn't be doing, you tell them to stop, but you wouldn't be bringing them up to their parents.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only really the last 10 years or 15 years, because even when I was a little kid, I would go out to, you know, the park for the whole day and play football with my mates, and then come back and it would be fine.
'Cause I was a bad mother.
No, but it was like I had a bunch
I
of
don't think any other
you want
kid was
water, Mom?
allowed to do
Do
that.
you want water or anything? Can we just so we have this part of the show
Well,
where we
Jack was just telling a story, and you just cut him.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I
what was
think,
the story?
You know,
Are you cold, Mom?
Slightly. No, it's okay. I'm glad.
I'll just turn on the heat. Jesus Christ! I thought. What did you think about the whole pandemic? Did you? How was it for you?
It's apart from not being able to go out, it really didn't bother me. I mean, I had spent most of my time playing the piano, and I had most of my time to play the piano. So I mean, really.
So yeah, you really that takes you that for some reason that you're in a good place when you're playing piano.
Yeah.
What is explain to people, I guess, who aren't into music what it is about playing the piano, or
It would be very hard to explain it to people who unless they actually liked music, you know.
right, yeah.
But well, first of all, it's a challenge because I'm always learning new stuff. That's not really, but that's what keeps me at it. And I love music, and if I can play something really well, it gives me great pleasure, and I will work really hard at it.
Yeah.
But it's about the only thing I work hard at to get it right. And
Shh. Can we just keep it down, please? Unbelievable.
David, just you have to be gentle, especially around your mom, and
Huh?
yeah, just gentle, you know.
Hannah, could you step away from the edge of the cliff? You know what I mean? Hannah?
Well, it's not.
And where did you meet Dad? Or father?
in my own apartment,
Why are you laughing, Hannah?
But like in your apartment, so he must have come to your
well,
apartment.
I'll explain now.
Yeah, Hannah. You look at Hannah, delighted,
That's
getting all
shocking.
excited about the salacious details. Sorry, go on, Mum.
My very good friend Mary O'Connor, who was then Mary Hayes, was staying with me, and she had there was a lot of people around, and a party sort of developed.
Yeah.
And this guy came in, your father, and he was very tall, very handsome, and all that. And this is a very strange story, which I don't really expect people to believe. But I was talking to him for a while, and we weren't dancing or anything like that. We were just talking. I don't know what we were talking about. And he said to me, "I'm going to marry you."
Jesus.
And I laughed. I said, that was the end of it on that occasion. But it was weird.
Yeah, Jesus. Dad was he was quite a well.
And it was quite a while. I mean, maybe a week later, he rang me up and asked me out for a date, and then the relationship developed. But his first, whatever, I mean, I wasn't particularly good looking, whatever it was that he was looking for, or
Yeah.
anyway.
Also,
It was
I
extraordinary.
heard some similar story that probably is very rare that people see another person and they sort of know that they're
That-
gonna
yeah,
marry
yeah,
that
yeah.
person.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
it's,
I
it's like a
didn't
destiny.
Yeah, but I don't think you've ever. I haven't heard that before.
No, I didn't. I didn't ever say it.
You didn't. Why didn't you? Sorry, I'm laughing. I'm laughing at the fact that maybe because it's one of those things that seems kind of inconsequential, but is actually quite significant in a way, because Dad doesn't seem. It seems a bit out of character. I mean, although I don't know Dad in the just is there.
Great show, thank you. Very good.
Milk.
Thanks so much.
Well, no, that's very. Have we got a coaster?
Well, I don't think you don't really need a poster with that.
No, you
Okay.
don't need a coaster.
Okay, Jack. Thank you, my prince. That's Prince Jack. Prince Jack, back to your soundboard, please, sir.
I hope you're recording it.
I do know. I love Jack and Daniel. Obviously, they know that. They know I know that they know that I know that they know that. But sometimes
I don't care.
I
don't care, big boy.
Do you know? Actually, Mom, I want to tell on. I want to go back to what you were saying, but I want to tell on Jack. Yesterday, me and Hannah were calling Jack to make sure that he was here today, and he's working for a delivery company, and then he said to me, "Yeah, no, I have to work. You wouldn't know what that's like." That's what Jack. But he had a very heavy. He put on when he gets
just
angry.
Say it like
he
says it.
when he gets
Don't say it.
Well, just hold on, because
Wait.
you know,
Mom,
you're
he said-
just you know.
He puts on a heavy. You don't even know what it's fucking like. You
That's
He puts
ridiculous. That's ridiculous,
Hannah, doesn't he?
I was like,
That's ridiculous.
I was shocked, and I'm just like, where's
That's
my
ridiculous.
Jack?
That's ridiculous.
What?
You can't just say that. Not let me speak about it.
Why
Like,
is he speaking
Granny,
so
what do you think
rudely?
about that, Granny?
you know what he's like, Granny. You know.
Yes.
So
Are you shocked, Granny?
I think Jack is perfect.
I know.
Exactly,
I'm amazed that you
Would make up a story like that.
anyway, I'm not going to say what.
What were you going to say, Jack?
I
Daniel?
well, I don't know what it was. No, but
Yeah.
but you know, basically. You weren't really you and Hannah weren't very respectful of
We were
of
dismissive.
my work and stuff and
Okay.
my, you know,
And then you
know,
said then-
I lost my temper, but I Granny, I followed the code of if you got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. So I hung up the phone and I said I'm not going to say anything anymore, and I got myself off work and I came here today. So you know. It depends if you're a results-orientated person or you're just stuck in the past. You know?
Checkmate. Okay, but so that's quite interesting. So Dad says that thing to you on the first meeting.
Yeah.
I'm going to marry you.
Oh, within 10 minutes.
That you see, do you
But
know?
I think
Can I just say
he
I'm
wasn't even aware of that.
Can
you
I
know?
ju-
It just came to him that thought, and he expressed it.
Yeah.
no, but
And he
I'm
wasn't,
I'm
like,
such an
dramatic.
asshole.
Maybe he said it for every girl he met. I mean, that's the possibility.
Well, Mom,
I don't
just
think
speaking to the
so.
microphone. That's right, Mom. I was thinking, you know, and I'm sure that's not the case. Even if it, but you know, maybe. Do you know what you have to do, David? Right, just go up to them and say, "Oh, I'm going to marry you." They love that, the girls. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But no, I don't think. Anyway.
But anyway, we started. He would phone me. I was living with my brother at the time, and
And there were no mobile phones back then. There was no 087 numbers. You'd have to have a landline,
we had a landline.
which was quite unusual because it took about 50 years to get a landline, didn't it?
Well, anyway, I always had a phone. And when we started, he would phone me every so often. But my brother, Barry, didn't like him. He didn't trust him.
Yeah, right.
And I think he just thought it was going to go wrong for me, you know.
Yeah.
And he used to refer to him as the Deb's Delight.
Deb's delight. So he's a bit of eye candy. And where did you go out on? Can you remember your first date?
I think we went to the Toby Jug pub.
Is that still around?
No.
No. Yeah.
But,
And so from that meeting,
Would you drink alcohol?
oh, yes.
Like, what,
So
would,
for-
you,
so-
what would you drink? Pints?
I
Guinness,
loved.
Beer.
I know you don't.
Beer.
I know you
Beer.
don't drink now, Mom. But I used to love it when I was young, and you'd had a bit to drink. No, but it was very. It was very funny. You know what I mean? You know.
Yeah, I drank too much.
Can you remember me being drunk, Jack or Daniel?
Oh my
Daniel?
God.
Go on, Hannah.
Daniel.
Yeah, I remember you stumbling in one day, like into Leeson Street, and you're just like falling over. Yeah, you're pretty drunk.
Why would you wash our family's dirty linen in? Hey Daniel, let's do open the cage.
All right. Okay.
Are we good? I'm very excited about this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is part of the show. Daniel, obsessed with Nicolas Cage. Open the cage.
Yeah, so this is some trivia that I know myself from my knowledge of Nicolas Cage. He in 1990 he made a movie called Firebirds, Wings of the Apache, which is like a rip-off of Top Gun. Brilliant. And it stars him, Tommy Lee Jones, and Sean Young. Okay. And I don't know if many people know about this film, but it's just like it's Top Gun but with Apache helicopters. So, okay. So like it's all the opening scenes are real corny. And
is it worth having a look at?
Well, for the hilarity of it,
because it's so shit.
Because it's so bad. Like he's doing push-ups in the movie, like he's crazy for no reason, and like it's kind of like Top Gun, but it's just
with helicopters.
Yeah, with a helicopter, and it's really bad.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah.
A beautiful piece of trivia, Daniel. You've hit
it's
back of the
so bad that we have to see it.
It's so bad that we have to see it. Yeah. Back of the net.
That's all you have to do.
Okay, and now, Jack, Conspiracy Corner. Do you have anything? This is a Conspiracy Corner.
There's a topic that is being debated now. I'm wondering your opinion on this, Granny. Because we actually have a picture of you and Granddad at the pyramids, you know?
Yeah, where's
the
that?
pyramids of Giza in Egypt, and
it's look.
That was on our honeymoon, I think.
And it's often debated. No one knows how the pyramids were built. You know, they didn't write it down. There's no historical evidence for it.
And how old they are.
There's certain theories that they built massive ramps and they built like kind of scaffolding around the pyramids. But some people think that aliens built the pyramids.
Jesus Christ! Here we go.
So Granny, do you think that aliens built the pyramids?
No.
No. Okay. Do you believe in aliens?
No.
No.
We. But also, we are the aliens. Look around the universe. Nothing else around. Like we're looking.
I'm asking a question.
Oh, you're asking Granny.
Yeah.
Have you ever, Granny or Mom? Have you ever been? Have you ever been visited by aliens?
There are stories that we were being abducted by aliens.
Were you ever abducted by an alien?
No.
And it's apparently very traumatic.
It's blasphemy to say that aliens are real. So
you know, there's always been. They used to talk about ghosts and Ballyjames stuff, and there was a Presbyterian church. When we would go from our house to the village of Ballyjames stuff, we had to pass the Presbyterian church, and at night time we used to be nervous, and we were ignorant enough to think that a Presbyterian church was more likely to produce a ghost than the Catholic church.
Right.
And we would always go very quickly past it. You know, it was silly. I mean, absolute silly. But that's the way.
And what about what? Actually, sorry, Mom. Interesting. You talk about the color and the atmosphere of Ballyjames stuff. And what were there funny characters?
Oh yeah.
But tell me about one or two of those funny characters, and then we.
People tend to have nicknames, and there was one particular guy known as Patsy on the Beach. And I always knew Patsy. I never knew. And one day I asked my father, and he claimed he was in the British Army, and he used to claim that he was the first man that landed on the beach
of Normandy.
That was his story of Normandy. So he was known ever after as Patsy on the Beach. They had these complicated. Another fellow was called Hand Me Down the Moon.
What?
Hand Me Down the Moon.
Hand Me Down the Moon.
And people would actually. I met Hand Me Down the Moon, and Hand Me Down the Moon's father. You know, he would use the whole.
And where did that come from?
He's very tall.
What a great description. Hand me down the fucking. That is brilliant, isn't it? Daniel, would you listen to that? Daniel, hey, hand me down the moon. What about Mary? My godmother was telling me about some guy. He'd be a perving on women. He'd just be, in a bush, playing with himself. Do you remember that guy?
No. No, I was never aware of any of that growing up. fortunate, I suppose, that I grew up
that you sidestepped. Any I have such good memories as a kid of Bally James Duff and your mom, Peggy, and being in the kitchen and the postman delivering, like hand delivering. Well, you know,
yes, he came in to the back door.
He'd come into the back door, and there was a half door. Is that right? There was a half. No, there wasn't. But I remember Peggy, you know, saying to me, "Someday you're going to be taller. Someday you're going to be taller than me." And I remember looking up and thinking, "Are you crazy?" It's funny, isn't it? The things that stick out in your memory. Any other? Sorry.
Do you remember the postman coming in? I particularly remember he'd come in the back door, and he'd have a pile. My father was a solicitor, so there was the stuff for the solicitor's office came. And he would stand there and he'd give one envelope after the other. Patrick Cusick, Patrick Cusick, Patrick.
And he'd read them out.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, the addresses, you know. And
I remember that. What was it? There was a guy. I think he was related to you. He had a van, but he didn't have a seat on one side of the van, so he had a cardboard box that you'd sit on. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know if we want to talk about that guy. He's a bit dodgy. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Postman Pat.
No, there's another guy. Mom doesn't want to talk about that stuff.
I don't know what you're talking, to be honest.
Yeah, you're trying to push an agenda here, David, I think.
I'm just trying to hold up a mirror to the reality of day-to-day life in Ireland, you know what I mean? And all the things that were in the, you know, ether, man. Do you know what I mean? We don't hold back on this show, I can tell you that much. So, Mom, how long have you been married to Dad?
Nearly 60 years.
Incredible.
So is that a diamond anniversary? So, and then after 60, they don't have any names of
You're supposed to be
anniversary.
dead.
Yeah, you're supposed to be dead.
So I was thinking somebody's married
You're
70.
dead.
So
That's right. It just doesn't go beyond it. It's just diamond dead. Do you like do you? You know the way people say life just whizzes by, or it's so fleeting. Do you have that sense that life is?
Oh, well, yes. It seems like only yesterday I was in Bally James Duff, and here I'm now, 83 years old. You know, and it's I feel the same person. I feel exactly the same person.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the strange thing. Obviously, you know.
Do you think we're good with old people in Ireland? Good with old, you know, do you think we're ageist? Do you think young people are ageist?
I haven't had personal experience of ageism, you know, and I'm not out and about that much. I don't know. I've never felt in any way abused because of my age.
Oh right, yeah. Can we end, Mom, with us bringing? There's a little electric piano here. We can just put it there. And only to play for 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Yeah, 30 minutes. 30 seconds or something. Would that be okay? Can I just, Mom, thank you so much for coming and being involved in this episode of That's Why We're Not Together. You are a great mother to me, to Sinead, to all the children. And if it wasn't for you, I'd probably be, you know, lying down in a van by the river. So thank you for loving me and caring for me when I was a child. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And also, thank you to Hannah, my ex-wife, and my princes Jack and Daniel. And Mom, would you like to play us out 30 seconds of something? Bring me back to my childhood. Thank you. Standing up, by the way. Do you know how fucking difficult that is? Thank you. Yes.